So you want to grow spiritually. Well, most Christians do. But how to grow spiritually is the question. Well, it might be asked, does God have a blueprint for your spiritual growth? Well, in fact, He does. So what do you have to do would be the response of most Christians. I want to know. Well, the reality is that there is nothing for you to do. Well, now you've confused me, you say. Well, God designed you in such a way that He would be responsible for your spiritual growth. And all you have to do is to choose to participate with Him. Well, welcome to Morning Walk, where we discuss our walk of faith in Jesus Christ. So, how do you spiritually grow? Well, I might ask you, how did your journey spiritually begin? Well, it began in the new birth. And it's the way of grace through faith. That's how you came to Christ. For by grace are you saved through faith, that not of yourselves, that it is the gift of God, lest any man should boast. And so we see that God has done everything for the believer. He has made you a new creation, and He's given you everything you need for living the Christian life. It is all presently true about you as a believer. In other words, whatever God wants to accomplish in you, that finished work has been applied to you. The only question is whether or not you and I will participate with Him. Well, the good news is today. Today is the day of salvation. Now is the time for you to simply be aware and be receptive to what God is working in you. So be receptive to nothing more and nothing less. You remember the time that the disciples asked Jesus this question? They said, "What shall we do that we might work the works of God?" Well, if you've understood the grace message, then right away you should get a red flag based on that kind of a question. Did you notice what they asked? What shall we do to work the works of God? Well, Jesus' answer might surprise you. It might not. He didn't give them a long list of suggestions of rules and regulations and principles to follow. He simply said, and his response was very simple and to the point, and yet it was profoundly to the point. Jesus answered and said, "This is the work of God, that you believe in Him whom He sent." So what was He saying? He's basically saying that there is nothing you can do other than believe what God has done through me on your behalf. And so what we see from Jesus' response is that there is only one work of God. A person, you and I, must solely rely on Him and trust that God will do the rest. Oh, that's probably our struggle. We struggle trusting because we struggle with control, don't we? So there is not one thing that you need to do. As far as the Christian's concerned, only one work is imperative, and that is a work of faith. That is for you, and it is imperative, by the way, and an imperative is a command. So there is one thing that you need to do, and that one thing that you need to do, as I've already mentioned, is a work of faith. And faith's not a work. Jesus said, only believe. So, do you see it? The Christian's responsibility is singular. The only thing that you and I can do or must do is to believe, to be receptive, to walk by faith. You are to have faith in God's faithfulness, to trust Him that what He has done will fully accomplish what He intended to accomplish in your life, or how you might grow spiritually. So I leave you with the question: are you following God's blueprint for spiritual growth today? Well, if you are, it's not a script. It's simply a walk of faith. So enjoy His presence as your life and experience life as God intended.